Ako muna.
Maybe just to inform everyone, our main speaker is Antonio Aguirre, and I will be doing ad-lib. I will be joining in the conversation. I am JJ Biray, and the main presenter is Antonio Aguirre.
Hi, magandang hapon po sa lahat. My name is Antonio Aguirre, and I represent Aguirre Advertising and A Consultancy. And well, today the reason for our presentation is to highlight the impacts of social media presence in today's society, not just globally, but here in our country, especially in the Philippines, where social media has been very rampant in giving out both good news and bad news, and at the same time, fake news. And that's why we're here to debunk any of those and explain further, maybe more on the basics of social media and how it works and how the social media platforms can be very helpful for us all, not just for PNP, but for you as well as an individual. If everyone can notice the logos here without even naming them, I mean, the first one, you will already see what this is. It's Facebook, which is now actually Meta. Meta is owned by Mark Zuckerberg, and it's not just Facebook, but also Instagram, WhatsApp, for example, Messenger, which many of us actually use. And this one is YouTube, of course, a video sharing platform, which is owned by Google, a different company. And this is the new one, which everyone talks about, which is TikTok. It's not just now a dancing platform that everyone used to know, for trends, but now it's used as a source for information as well, education. And of course, Instagram, which is also owned by Meta and Facebook. So our agenda for today is to understand social media and the impact of it on every user's behavior. For example, social media gathers information about us, about our habits, and how we use, for example, Facebook. The next one is social media strategy. These are simple strategies that everyone can use in terms of social media management for your business accounts. Next one is social media amplification. It talks about how you can strengthen your voice in social media so that you have a better audience and a more engaged audience. Next one is the use of social media listening tools. And next is social media analytics and algorithm. Algorithm is how social media platforms award creators or users in terms of being seen by more people. We'll explain more about that later. And social media scanning. What's social media? Well, social media is basically defined as an interactive platform where content is created and it's shared by individuals or groups on the web that focuses on communication, community-based input, interaction, content sharing, and being able to collaborate with different people on social media. Examples of that, one of the oldest forms of social media is emails, text or picture messages from your phones, social networking sites, websites, gaming sites, blogs, chat rooms, and etc. So let's talk about the basic pros of social media, how it is helpful. Number one, global connectivity. Gone are the days wherein you have to dial or connect someone, an operator, just to be able to talk to someone in Japan or in the US. If you had relatives back then, you could only talk to them via phone, and it was very expensive. It was limited to an hour at most. Now, you can talk to anyone and do business with someone that's based, for example, in the UK or in Africa, anyone else where you need to do business or be able to connect with someone for personal or for business. Next is opportunities for community engagement. So, for example, one of my brands, Soulslam, it talks about sneakers and streetwear. We're able to create a community that's based globally. So half of our following comes from global, from the US, UK, even in Asian countries outside of the Philippines. We wouldn't be able to do that if we just did that through simple group messaging. Next thing is immediate access to all types of information. Now, before when I was a kid, for me to be able to know information about something like an engine of a car, I would have to go through an encyclopedia during the 90s for you to search that. Now, if you want to know everything about, the past presidents of a specific country, you can just go to Google and type it, and the information is there. Almost all the information since the world was created is there now on social media, and especially in Google or in Yahoo. Alright, let's now talk about the cons or the bad side of social media. Number one, messages can become viral in a matter of minutes. And if you put out the wrong message and it's not validated by facts or by data alone, then you are spreading now what we call the famous fake news. The next one is online harassment, such as cyberbullying and stalking. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you have seen these cases go overblown because of people doing harm to other people online. There have been a lot of teenagers who have done suicide and cases like those because they're a victim of online harassment. I'm 40 years old, so during the 90s, bullying for us was physical. It was in school. Now, you're not in school, your children who are 12, 15 years old, they might be bullied without you even knowing because you won't see them with physical harm or injuries in their body. But when you check on their social media, they're being harassed and bullied by other people, which is happening nowadays globally. Next one is images and text can remain online indefinitely. So whenever you post anything, think before you share. Because, right, if it's, for example, your family, for example, just an example, if you're on Instagram and you share something like your kid, your daughter who's 5 years old, you post a picture of them in a cute bikini. There are people who don't see that as cute, but for anyone that thinks otherwise, it's seen as sexual, which is how the world
copy it and
and then they can use it and they can edit it. Your photos, once it's out there, it's out there. It belongs to the public. There's no copyright. It's gonna be difficult. So we'll discuss more of those. Let's talk about social media versus mass media, the similarities. First, it's designed to reach large number of people. Of course, the reason why these social media platforms are free is because to attract more people to join and be able to interact with each other. That's the purpose of it. You are on social media so you can interact with your classmates from high school, your former office mates and such. And the next way to share, disseminate information through online audiences. For example, PNP, when it announces something very important, a new news or something, and you want it out there immediately. If you have a large audience, it's easier to be shared. Share is an engager, for example. Now, the difference between social media and mass media is that social media reaches users in a short amount of time. Before, when there was no social media, like in the early 2000s, you would have to wait for the news to come out on the TV networks. Or on the news publication the next day, if you wanted to know the score of a basketball game, you will have to check the newspaper the following day, and it's not even complete. Right? And also, social media gives audience an opportunity to give feedback. So, for example, in traditional mass media, it's only one way. So there's no interaction. You can only interact if you go to them directly, and it's not so easy. So what is a social media content? Social media content generally means anything that as an individual or company you can post or share with other social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok as well. It can be via text, photo, videos, links to websites outside of that social media account, infographics, and GIFs. Yung picture na gumagalaw, moving images. What is quality content? Quality contents, there are keywords and phrases that describes which is attractive, informative in potential, and the ability to communicate the message clearly to your target audience and bring them a benefit, which is either entertainment or education or information. So here are the types of social media content. When we go on social media platforms, specifically, for example, when we go to Facebook, we go there to be entertained, to be updated with our friends, our family, or whoever, right? So when you go online, you have different purposes. Number one is to be entertained, which is entertainment. You watch viral videos, scroll up endlessly watching long videos on Facebook or YouTube. Memes are things that are dubbed as funny. They can use photos of people that are trending and then put captions in it, so that's a meme. Another one is to be able to join contests and giveaways for you to share their posts. And last one is, of course, the giveaways. Next one is to be inspired. A lot of people go to social media to be inspired by people. I, for one, I do those types of content, social media platforms. I post quotes, facts, prayers, and thoughts about God, and also personal stories of success of not just me, but other people as well. Lastly, for example, when you go to YouTube, you don't just go for entertainment, but also to be educated. When I wanted to learn how to start a YouTube channel. I went to YouTube and started looking for information. So you get information from people already there who've been doing that before you. So informative blog posts, case studies as well, and live video training, which is all free. Other types of social media content are conversations, where you see, that includes video podcasts, for example, conversations between people asking questions, filling the blanks, captioning these photos, and polls. Those conversations, for example, like with Tony Talks, that's one. Next one is connection. Behind the scenes of, for example, a popular program that you watch on TV, you can see the behind the scenes on how they do those shows. Another one is product service reviews. You see a lot of tech reviews, product reviews, food bloggers who share the reviews of food. Before, remember when you used to buy phones, you would go to the store directly and ask them which is a good phone. Now, before you go there, you already know which one you're going to buy because you've seen already the reviews of people there. So product service reviews. Next one is employee and customer features. And lastly, promotions. Of course, when there's a product, they have testimonials, and they also share webinars on how their products are going to be helpful for them. The question is, why do you need a social media strategy for any brand? So for every person and every brand, they need a social media strategy. You don't just post content. Social media content mirrors your organization and what they stand for. That's why it's very essential to maintain what we call a consistent and aesthetically pleasing look and feel throughout your feed. Consistent. For example, your brand colors are blue and red. You don't just post green and yellow all of a sudden. So it may seem that your social media has been hacked by someone else because it's not entirely related to what you're actually doing. Imagine if you're posting about cars and then all of a sudden you're posting about food, so it doesn't make sense. Next one is by planning a social media strategy, you will be able to create, publish, and maximize engagement across social media channels. So you're not just on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and everything else. As a consultant for brands, individual brands and companies, social media strategy is important because it's gonna save you time. You won't have to think anymore of what content you're gonna put out because you already know what's your niche, what's your exact demographic or market that you're targeting. So it's one of the easiest ways to plan your new strategy, which is creating social media content calendar. So you're posting, for example, every 9 a.m., 6 p.m., or 9 p.m. You can use apps that can schedule, like Business Suite for Facebook and Hootsuite, for example. Another one is because it supports your business. So social media strategy is a solid understanding of your target customer. You know what your customer wants and needs. That's why it's specific to what you're actually posting. So knowing who they are, using the information that's given by your social media platforms, and what will make them follow you and attract more people like them as well. And lastly, it will help you measure results. For example, you made a post about something and you see that it wasn't very engaging, and the next one that you made was very engaging. So you see the difference of why the other one was engaging, the other post that you made was not engaging. Yeah.
Okay, and just to add to that, it's very important for PNP to have a social media strategy, and even to your own cities, provinces, districts, because this is how you can effectively communicate your message. You ask yourselves many times, bakit itong influencer na to, ang galing-galing, ang daming followers, kasi meron siya social media strategy in place. Yung normally wala, hindi yan talaga makaka-edge over. So lahat na nakikita nyo sa social media na madaming followers, effective, ang ABS-CBN, ang GMA, or the likes of Tony Gonzaga, the likes of Alice Gonzaga. Bakit ang gagaling? Because pinag-aaralan yung kanilang strategy. You have to know your market first. Sino ba yung audience nyo? Yung audience ng PNP, not necessarily lahat ng tao. Eventually, yun ang goal natin. Pero sino ba yung unang magkakaroon ng interest sa PNP para sila rin ang magiging messenger ng message nyo? So you target your audience who will engage first with you so that they will also share what your message is to the others. And that, when it grows bigger, that's when your follower grows bigger. It only happens when you have a social media strategy in place.
The social media strategy, lastly, of course, it also helps measure results. It measures your efforts by evaluating content awareness, engagement, and conversations. Here are the benefits of social media strategy. Number one, pinaka-importante dito yung building brand awareness. What is brand awareness? Yung tao, alam nila kung ano yung brand mo. What it is all about. Social media platforms, it gives you a chance to build your visual identity across a wide array of audience. You see, for example, I'm sure most of you have met social media personalities. When you follow them on social media, they're a very different person. When you meet them personally, uy, iba ka pala in person. It's because they build something differently visual compared to someone when you meet them personally. And that's building brand awareness for them. Better brand awareness means better results with all your other campaigns. For example, you're putting a campaign, create awareness on anti-cybercrime law, what it is. So more awareness. So you now create campaigns that are directed towards that. For example, let's say for the next 6 months, most of your content will talk about cyberbullying. And what's an example of cyberbullying? Maybe a role-playing type of thing you see on social media, you can share that. So that's informative, it's educational. Now it's worth engaging and sharing. Next one, when you have a strategy, it helps grow your audience consistently. Hindi ka biglang magiging, it's rare that someone becomes a viral sensation because it's hard to create viral content. Having a strategy helps you grow your audience. Social media success is often determined by the size of the audience that you have. You can't grow your audience right away, so you have to do it consistently. So the more people you are able to reach, of course, the more opportunities you have to generate leads. That's why a lot of companies, contact social media influencers and big brands to promote their products because they already have the attention. When you have a bigger voice, then you can talk more and it has now more value. Next one is boosting community engagement. So it enables you to communicate with your following, by your followers by viewing, liking, commenting, or on sharing your social media content. Engagement, that's an engagement. When someone likes a post nyo, nag-comment, or nag-share, those are important engagements. So, pinunood, a view, sa example of an engagement, the higher it is, the better. It's like this, when, for example, in real life, when you say to a person, kamusta ka, and then the person does not respond, right? It's weird, right? But when you do it on, for example, on social media, someone says, kamusta ka, and then you reply, okay lang. And then now the interaction starts. So now it's a back and forth between you and the people who follow you back and forth. So that's why it's important to engage back. That's why on my social media accounts or other people as well, I tell them to always reply. When someone comments, do your best to reply. Ako kahit emoji lang magre-reply ako. Just to acknowledge that they made an effort to reply to your post. Don't be a snob when you post something, for example, sa Facebook mo, post a picture about your family and then a friend of yours comments, what a beautiful family. Comment ka rin, reply. Kasi it adds to an engagement. Thank you, appreciate it, yung mga ganang birthday greetings, you reply to them para hindi sabihin na masungit ka or snob ka. That's one thing people forget. When they post, they have to respond. That's how social media works. Next one is to drive traffic to the website. Social media is a top channel for increasing traffic to your website, where you can convert visitors into avid supporters. That's why some social media accounts, for example, only have, for example, 100,000 followers, but their engagement is more than 5 million. It's because they're able to attract people who are not their followers. And with that, you're able to create links for websites to funnel that. Most people, maybe for example, where I build audience, is to drive traffic to websites where it can be converted into, for example, sales or information or signups.
Maybe just to add.
Yes.
Again, we would just like to reiterate, engagement starts from the owner of the account. Kung hindi kayo magre-reply, kung hindi kayo magre-react, walang magre-react din. So it's important that you initiate the engagement.
For example, with our agency, we offer what we call community specialists, wherein they reply within a short period of time to everyone that comments or sends them an inbox message like, patulong po, ganyan-ganyan, may nagre-reply. Hindi lang autoresponder. Yun ang problema ng karamihan ng mga social media accounts.
Tsaka maganda yung nagre-reply right away because it gives you a good ranking in the platform.
Yeah.
The
algorithm.
The algorithm. It improves your algorithm. You're now boosted or ibig sabihin, inire-recommend ka ng platform. So when you engage faster, makikita niya may ranking niya. Engages within the day, engages within an hour. The faster you engage, your ranking improves a lot more. So hindi kayo in the tail end of updates and news.
Let's talk about social media goals. I've heard of the word SMART goals. It's important to keep in mind that each of your goals should start with this. SMART stands for S for specific. The goal should be precise with no room for misinterpretation. M for measurable. The goal should be quantifiable. And progress should be easy to track. Next is attainable, because the goal should be attainable, not outlandish or not realistic. Next is letter R for relevant. So the goal should contribute to your broader overarching goals. And last is time bound. So the goal should have a definite start and end date. Goal example, let's say you want to be physically fit. Specific, sabihin mo, start ako mag-jogging every day and train for a marathon, right? Next one is measurable. I will follow, for example, using an app like Nike app training program to run a full marathon without stopping. Next is attainable. I've done running before, my body is using to be healthy, and the marathon is going to be 6 months from now, not 6 days from now. Next is relevant. I want to become a fit, healthy, and strong person, and as a goal, I want to be full of vitality, energy, and zest for life. And lastly, time bound. I've signed up for a marathon for 6 months from now, not a few days. So there's a commitment from you. For example, like me, when I approach someone who says, I want to be wealthy. And I say, ask them, how wealthy do you want? I don't know, 500,000, 1 million, 5 million, 1 billion. You have to be specific. And how long do you want to reach that? It's part of that as well.
For instance, right now, PNP is faced with a lot of fake news. When you ask yourself, bakit mas popular yung fake news kesa sa real news coming from PNP? When you have, I just learned they have about 50 bloggers who are supporters of your pages. Why is that? Maybe because there's no plan in place. Maybe because we're not responding right away to inquiries. Maybe because we're not as proactive as the others who are spreading fake news. You have to remember, it's all about time. Bilis. On social media, it's all about the fastest way you can bring out your news gets the pie, the bigger part of the pie, no? So, ganun fake news. Sa fake news, iba-viral na kagad yan. Pick up lang ng konti, gagawa na siya ng sarili niya, kukuha siya ng konting pictures. Okay, I'll give you an example. The President went to the UN and spoke before the General Assembly. Ang ginawa ng purveyors of fake news, kumuha ng old pictures, nakita lang nila yun, konti lang, kumuha ng old pictures at kinumpare. Diba? Ito yung dati speaker, madaming tao, tapos nilagay lang yung mukha. Tapos ito yung sa kanya, walang tao. But nag-spread kagad yun. Because the opposition are faster, they engage faster. Kung sinong magsisira sa institution ng PNP, are your people are not supporters of PNP, and they're more engaging. They will be faster than you. To stop fake news, you have to be faster than them. Or the people will just have to rely and verify. When they do discernment, they go back to your page because that's where the real numbers and real news happens. So your news should be ahead of fake news all the time. Or if may fake news, kagad nyo ika-counter. Ilalabas nyo kagad sa page ninyo.
Actually, you should always monitor social media and even news publications because sometimes their sources are not accurate. So for example, let's say comes out first with the news, and you already know for a fact that the news that they put out is not accurate. So that's why you have to respond right away on social media and search and put out information on your social media accounts that what is being posted is not real and this is the real one based on facts. And it has to be time bound. If someone posted that wrong information today and you respond 2 months from now, what's the use? So you have to respond as quickly as possible. And I can't say like 1 hour, 3 hours, but for example, at least within the day. Kasi pag kumalat na yung wrong information, it's hard to stop it because it becomes now viral. One of the reasons why fake news sites create viral information is to be able to just get more attention for them so that they can pursue and share what they want to be shared. And sometimes it's for the wrong deeds.
Always. If it's fake news, always for the wrong.
Yeah, it's for either for the clicks, they want to be known, and then, for example, their social media fake news so that they'll get more followers and then they'll sell those accounts. That's what they do. They create fake news and then they'll sell those accounts to someone else. Here's an example of a social media amplification strategy. Social media amplification simply means when you create a brand, let's say on Facebook, and now you create a Facebook fan page. So may personal account ka and then meron kang bagong product. You go on Facebook and you create a fan page, let's say PNP toys, kunwari lang, you have mga stuffed toys, yun yung product nyo. And then you have 0 followers, right? PNP toys, you have a profile picture, you have a cover photo, and then you post your first content. And then you invite your first 100 friends, for example. So now you have 100 followers. And then you post the picture of the stuffed toy, the PNP toy. And then makita nyo, bakit one like lang? Bakit one comment? Not one share lang? 100 yung followers ko. It's because Facebook, for example, would want you, they would message you and say, do you want to boost your post? The blue button, if you don't know what a boost is, it's putting an ad out there to people that may be attracted to your product or your business so that they will likely engage with it. Now, Facebook will say, oh, do you want to spend 1,000 pesos to add 900 more followers? 900 more followers. So now, you pay that and then you, for example, get now 1,000 followers. Now you post again. And then you see, bakit 5 lang yung likes? Bakit 10 lang? Kala ko 1,000 yung followers ko, pero 10 lang yung nagla-like, nagko-comment, and sa ano ko. Tapos kami-kami lang din. It's because now, Facebook will tell you to promote that photo or video or content that you just made. And then now, you have to spend again. It's an example of a basic amplification. That's why social media is free. If you paid to join any social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, niloko lang kayo nun. Kasi it's free. Free to join. You don't have to pay for it. But what's not free is our attention. Where we spend our attention is where they sell it. They sell it. For example, let's just compare it. C1, for your attention, to be seen on the news feed for your Facebook. Para lumabas yung attention. For example, is willing to pay 2 pesos 50 cents for you to see their post, their video. But here comes and they spend 3 pesos 50 centavos. So guess what? What's gonna be seen on your social media? Because they spend more. That's how social media platforms make so much more money. It's because of the attention. They sell your attention to these brands. So now it becomes a bidding. And with social media amplifications, that's just one of the strategies to do boosting. Another one is to be able to share to big groups or other groups, called that plugging as well. So with here, we'll explain more about how social media application strategies can be done for you. Number one, use an advocacy marketing program to leverage your biggest fans. So in advocacy marketing program, your biggest fans sign up to receive your latest information content straight to your inbox. It's called the mailing list. If you have an email, I'm sure meron kayong mga na-receive ng mga weekly news from certain brand. For example, nag-subscribe kayo sa Shopee or sa Lazada or sa Zalora. If you often buy there, makita sa email nyo, halos everyday may makatanggap kayo. So that's an advocacy marketing program. Starbucks does that a lot. They advocate what we call tweet a coffee. The idea is simple. It allows customers to buy a gift card worth $5 to their friends to Twitter. You just have to tweet a coffee along the hands recipients with their handle, and the first 100,000 people receive the gift card. So it's like, for you to receive something, you have to give something to them in exchange. It's like they're giving you a one-piece nugget, but for you to do that, you have to do something for them.
For instance, yung PNP has about 1.3 million followers in one of your pages. You can leverage on that. You have 1.3 that who can, your soldiers, to spread the whatever your advocacy may be. But you have to engage them first. You have to make them interested. You can have something like this, a tweet. Oh, pag ni-spread mo to, sabihin mo, let's say, bantay kalikasan, bantay bata tayo, or bantay tayo sa cyber. Can you want to be a volunteer patrol? Diba? You sign up. So that can be, you draw into their interest, you leverage your current base, and may allow them to push whatever your advocacies are.
So it works like a funnel. Because for example, on your Facebook, you have 1.3 million followers, for example. You call out on those people who are active and ask them to work with you to spread the news that you're trying to share information para mas mabilis siyang kumalat. Again, it's scratch my back and I scratch yours type of thing. So it's a form of interaction. Another is, I'm sure everyone's familiar with the power of what we call influencer. What's an influencer? An influencer is someone who has a voice on social media when it comes to entertainment, fashion, lifestyle, or maybe something educational as well. So for example, one here is Ivana Lawi, beautiful person who shares her daily lives through blogs. Another one is Pong TV, who shares, funny stories in his life. Another one, Alex Gonzaga, who does interview. Another one is Chinky Tan, who's a very popular finance coach and wealth coach. So they have different types of market. So you work with single individual and you choose that individual which you think would be a good voice for your brand. You pick someone that you can work with who has a lot of followers, for example, or has high engagements, and work with them and ask them to share what you have or create content for you that you can use. So for example, you use kay Alex, you asked her to talk about cyberbullying and what it is. So now people will listen to her instead of just a spokesperson talking about it. So that could work. Or someone influential in blogging. It's a good example that you can use. In addition to having a larger social following than the average social media user, the influencer also has built a reputation as a trusted source of information. For example, yung mga nagta-tech review. Because they have large followings, they've done a lot of tech reviews when it comes, for example, to phones. For example, si James Egan with cars. You go to them before you actually buy the car or before you buy a phone because they're reputable. May good reputation na sila sa industry nila. Next is to promote your post through native social media advertising platforms. If you are working with a limited promotional budget, you can be sure to promote only your best content. So when in doubt, you can also remarket. You use promoted posts to incorporate another touch point into your cycle. When you're showing a prospect or potential customer a small piece of content, is an easier way to keep your brand in the top of their mind. You can see here, Creative Website Marketing is a company they work with that does sponsored ads naman. So yan, yung mga nakita nyo sa Facebook, they pay for that sponsored ad. Now, Facebook is very keen in the way people put out ads. Pinifilter na nila yung mga nag-ads basta-basta. A lot of those who use sponsored actually sometimes are illegal. Like for example, yung online gambling, bawal yung mga online casino, bawal yun ng Facebook. Kaya mga animal welfare, mga selling ng mga animals mismo on the platform. They're very careful with that. And also products that are fake. Another strategy is to publish across multiple platforms, which I actually do myself. I'm across all different platforms. I post about 5 to 15 different pieces of content every day on my social media. If you go to for example, to my Facebook account, I post 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 3 p.m., 5 p.m., 7 p.m., 9 p.m., and 10 p.m. And that's just on my Facebook. But I also share that automatically in scheduled posts on Instagram, if it's a photo post that I make. On YouTube, I have 3 videos that I post every week for the algorithm para maganda yung retention. And also on Twitter. On Twitter naman, you have to choose the shorter post. It has to be up to 280 characters or less. And lastly, when you have a website where you can share information daily as a news, you're also considered a news publication as PNP. Next is to conduct a social media audit. So when you conduct a social media audit, it means performing an analysis of your social media accounts and using cross-channel data to build your social media content strategy from scratch and how you can improve it and understand results. Yung mga social media accounts nyo, if it's a business account or a creator account, meron siya mga information about the posts that you make. So in a month, pwede nyo i-download yung data and compare yung posts nyo from Facebook, sa Instagram, sa Twitter, sa YouTube. Kung ano yung mga tingin nyo yung mga matataas yung engagement, ito yung pinamataas na comment, ito yung pinamataas na post na nag-like, nag-share. So pipiliin nyo yung mga content na gano'n. Tapos pag-aralan nyo na, uy, maganda yung content na ginawa natin na ganito, gawa pa tayo ng more like this. You have now a basis of what works, what gets a lot of engagements, and which does not. Usually, yung mga posters na informative, mababa talaga engagement. Unless you put something engaging, like for example, you do a post and says, Marites ka ba? So, which is something relatable because a lot of people, are nosy. So, if you put something catchy, which is what we call a hook, it becomes more eye-catching to an individual.
For your contents also, when you go on audit, just as a tip, if you notice yung presentation, it's all bright colors. The first thing that attracts you. Ganun din, di ba? Hindi dull. Same din, notice ko, please forgive me, but even yung Zoom, malaking bagay yung Zoom. Na-notice ko lahat kayo may virtual background. It works for the others, but if you're going to ask me, it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't attract people to stay on in the conversation. Ang nag-work madalas, ito makikita nyo to, pag pumunta kayo, nanood kayo ng CNN, deep back. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya, merong nakikita nyo yung lalim. Pag may virtual background, iba ang resolution ng mukha ng tao. And I'm so against that. So if you're going to communicate something to me, tanggalin niyo yung background niyo. Gawin niyo siyang deep back. Kasi yung mata ng tao will be drawn towards you. Kasi deep back. Psychology yun sa communication. Pag ano siya, pag may virtual background ka, pumapangit yung tao at nako-confuse, hindi maganda, di ba? Hindi yung mukha ng tao, distorted. So I suggest, if you're going to do something like a press con, via virtual, via online, sana wala na lang tayo virtual background. Just my point.
Moving on to social media metrics tracking. This is towards what I talked about in terms of information, database on the content that you have created. So it's a backbone. So it gives you more information. Number one, explaining the most important one, which is reach. This metric measures how many users have seen your social media posts. So for example, if you have, let's say, 1 million followers and your reach, let's say, is 20,000, medyo mababa siya. So you see how many people it has reached, meaning ilang Facebook account, for example, ang nakakita. So the higher reach, the more viral your content is. And sa algorithm, it has to be within the first 1 hour. A certain percentage of your users na dapat makakita for it to go viral. For example, with my content, some content will only reach 1,000 likes, some content will reach 30,000 likes. It's because mabilis yung reach niya or mabagal yung reach. Next one is clicks. If you're linking out of a landing page or a blog post to see website, you see how many people click on the link. So for example, for me, I promote, for example, my business. I always put in links of my other social media para dumami yung other platforms. So for example, sa Facebook ko 1 million followers, pero sa YouTube ko 100,000 pa lang. I will put more links from the video that I made, short video I made from Facebook, linking it to my YouTube para magkaroon ako ng chance to get more followers on my YouTube channel. So mapupool niya. So now you have a different audience specific to people who want to be on YouTube. It will give more information about the number of users per platform later on. Another thing is engagement. Ito yung for me, pinaka-importante and pinaka-gusto ko sa lahat. It's because engagement tracks the social engagement levels on your post by getting the sum of all the interactions, like, comments, shares, and for the post published in a specific time period. So for example, if I made a post last August, last month, 26, and became viral, up to now, it's still getting engagement. So for the past 30 days, I'm gonna see how many people have seen it, commented on it, and shared it at the same time. That's the difference. If you check your engagement, make sure pag marami kayong comments, reply the comments as much as possible. For a brand, I always recommend that you have a community specialist, 1 or 2 that works between, say, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. or kahit na 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. during daytime para makita ng tao na responsive siya. Na it's just not just a news information site but also somewhere where people can interact. So kanyari, nag-inbox ka sa kanila, within 12 hours, nag-respond kayo na kailangan ko ng tulong with something, may nagre-respond sa inyo, and you're able to the community specialist is able to filter out which questions are valid or naglolo ko lang, parang naghahanap na ng kausap. Next is hashtag performance. A hashtag is like an online file of facts. So when you go, for example, on Facebook, type in the hashtag PNP, you will see perhaps millions of tags like those. But when you do PNP cyberbullying, now it becomes more specific. Now that's where you see, for example, nag-launch kayo ng PNP, hashtag PNP cyberbullying last July. And you will see this month kung ilan na yung gumagamit ng hashtag, how effective your campaign is based on the hashtag performance. So you can monitor your hashtag performance, you can see which ones work best with your brand. Maybe you can shorten your hashtag or improve on your content that you attach your hashtag to. Last one is sentiments. To keep on top of your brand's reputation, you need to know whether people mention you positively or negative across social media. This is one thing, for example, politicians that we work with during the campaign period are very critical. There are politicians who are in what we call, they are in the green and in the red. So some politicians, which will remain unnamed, they always go in the red because they're always a source of, negativity. Galit yung mga tao sa kanila. So on top of here, bahala kayo kung sino yun. Galit. So you will see the sentiments of people na maraming galit. Meron naman puro green kasi love na love siya ng mga tao. So whatever they post, di na heart yung mga post nila. Pag mga iba naman na politician, parating angry or tinatawanan yung mga post nila. Kunyari, nag-post nila ng picture na nagdadasal, ganyan, tinatawanan, tapos yung mga so those are bad interactions naman. So you have to be careful with those as well. Because, for example, you put out content that says about cyberbullying, and then tinatawanan lang yung mga post nyo, and you're not trying to be funny. May mali doon.
How can we address yung biases ba?
Yes, bias. Yeah.
Kung galit na sa iyan, kung friend mo, so how can we address those
So it's not going to be an overnight thing, no? It's a process. Kagaya na sinabi namin kanina, a social media strategy should be in place. I'll give you an example, no? Meron isang senator, very popular, ang views na 12 million, 13 million, tapos kung saan lumalo pa siya, nagpapapicture sa kanya, talo siya. So hindi nyo nagintihan bakit? Kahit na maraming kang views, kahit na maraming nakikipag-picture sa'yo, not necessarily nagpo-convert yan into a loyal supporter, fan of yours, no? Yung iba, ano ka lang nila, meme ka lang nila. Diba? Nice to have, but we will never take you serious. For PNP, ano yung gusto nyong messaging? Anong klaseng status ang gusto niyo? Do you want to be the purveyor of fake news, people, or purveyor of integrity, real numbers? I would say real numbers tayo. Ano yung achievements natin? Natatalo, and this is just my observation, and please correct me if I'm wrong. As a third party, just observing PNP, ang dami achievements, pero hindi alam na tao. Kasi ang dami opposition sa inyo. You have to remember, there are very few of them. The opposition will be very few. Pero mas ganado sila. Sila talaga yung gagalaw. Sila talaga yung mag-move. Kasi wala mang ginawa yun. Kasi ganun ang negative na tao. Yung gigil, nagigil. Dapat magkaroon kayo ng gigil ng tao na magpapakamatay para sa inyo. Who will always vouch for you? Fight for you. People didn't understand. I remember prior to the election of 2016, the group came to me and asked for my help. Bakit gano'n? Hindi namin alam kung saan yung support galing. Pag merong debate, ang dami ng supporters ni kasi authentic yung dating. He spoke the language of people who will be loyal to him. Is PNP able to tap into the language that is acceptable to us? Sa bata, sino ba yung madalas nasa social media? Anong age group yun? Yun ang dapat nyo hanapin. Yung age group na yun na walang ginagawa, kundi lang manood ng news at magsulat. Ang news ang nagsusulat, ang nagre-react pa rin, hindi bata, by the way. Medyo matatanda na. Nasa 40 to 65 years old. Yun ang kailangan ng gusto na i-target. Kasi sila yung mahabang nagsusulat. Ito yung news, nakita namin ito yung opinion ko. Susulat ko yan. Pag nakuha natin yun, sila yung, sandali lang, may fake news. Pupunta mo lang sa PNP website to verify. Tama ba o hindi? So we have to have facilities wherein people can go to that facility to verify if it's fake news or not. Ang nakita namin lately is may fake news nang lumalabas. For instance, the kidnapping. The kidnapping, we thought the old news was correct news. Because when we went to the site of PNP, walang news about it. It took a while. When in fact, when we verified after so many weeks, it's old news. Yung Chinese na kinidnap na binubugbog and all, matagal na palang news yun. Dapat, we're very vigilant so that we remove the biases. When we're vigilant, when we are able to give answers right away to an issue, we now break biases. No, people are able to discern. Kasi ang ano ngayon, discern yung tao, titignan mo nila, fake ba to? Hindi. Hanggang walang sinasabi, yung source, kasi ang PNP, real news yun sa amin. Unless lumabas ang PNP sa, wait, may lumabas kaninang umaga, itong news na to, sasabihin ko na sa inyo fake yan. Kasi yung news na yan, 5 months ago. Then tapos na, mawawala yung biases, mawawala yung fake news, mamamatay yun.
I think a good strategy is to build your own tribe. With brands, I consider PNP as a brand by itself. It's no different than Jollibee, for example. When it has its own audience of people who love the nostalgia of buying from Jollibee from the 90s, the 80s pa, diba? So with PNP, it's building your own tribe. So it's calling them part of your crew. Na kahit hindi sila PNP, because they're supporters of PNP, they believe in the brand. Now you call them a part of it. Kaya nga ako, I call my followers team or squad. Kamusta na kayo mga ka-teammates, mga ganun. Because they belong to, inclusivity. When you put out information, you're trying to call out those people who actually believe in you. So that's part of building your tribe. That's why it's important to be tribing, diba? Because when you have a tribe of followers, sila yung mabilis mag-share ng information nyo. Sila yung mag-share parati whatever it is that you put out. Same with, for example, with the fashion brand. When they put out a new collection, matik yung followers nila, bibili na agad yun, share nila agad yun because they believe in it. And because they feel a sense of inclusive sila, na parang it's us against everyone else. So when you have those types of followers that you can build on and you call them out, they'll always be a supporter of yours. And it's free advertising for you. Some brands don't even do ads because it sells by itself through word of mouth. So yun yung PNP. It should be something na parang you're calling a specific people who follow you to decimate the information for you. And the only way to do that is to create your own tribe. The tribe is where you can sell anything. Okay? So it's suki, kumbaga. Parang it's a neighborhood. For example, everyone that's attending online, they're based in specific places. So may kanya-kanyang social media yan. So you can create, for example, the best, for example, for me is creating Facebook groups where it's public and people can engage there and comment, and then admins lang kayo yung nagpo-post, hayaan nyo sila mag-respond to it. So it's now community-based. For example, you have a PNP office in St. Ormoc, diba? So yung mga tao sa Ormoc, yun yung tribe nila, yung lugar na yun, sila yung magko-comment doon or around that specific area. So now it's easier for you to disseminate information. For example, nagkaroon ng disaster sa Visayas area, specific here. When you put information there, alam agad nila kung saan sila pupunta for information. You are their go-to. It gives a sense of belongingness that you care for them. Okay, here are additional tips and strategies. Number one, you want to create diverse content. Meaning, hindi lang information sinishare nyo. Sometimes, you have to have what we call a personality. This is what I always tell CEOs of company. You have to be a social CEO. For example, as a PNP chief, it would be good not just to be formal, but also to be human as well. Sometimes, people forget that, for example, politicians and law enforcement are people also with emotions. And of course, you want to be respected and reputable people, but at the same time, that you have a good sense of humor as well, that we're also human beings. Sometimes people forget that, pag mamayari namin kayo, you work for us, and hindi kayo pwede ganyan. You know, that, pero pag nakita ka sa TikTok ng mga naka-uniform, tapos sumayaw ng something viral. Diba? Oh, natutuwa sila because, oh my God, tao rin pala sila. Human din pala sila. Kaya may makita ko ganun, millions yung views, yung parang 5 sila, sumayaw sila sa naka-uniform sila. Diba? Sumayaw sila ng parang Gia or something, I don't know. Pero it went viral because it gives out your human side and it becomes relatable. So you're creating diverse content, not just information na ito ang bago ba yung tapos sobrang stiff. Of course, you can be that. At the same time, tao rin, sir.
Yes, sir. It's true that it went viral. Kaya lang, ano yung paano? Is it positive or negative?
Ayun, positive.
Positive. Oo,
Positive.
positive. Of course, there will be comments na nakakatawa or parang, balik tayo sa trabaho, ganyan. Tama na nakakasayaw, mahuli na kayo, whatever, ganyan yung ibang comment. You will have those as well. And it's normal.
Just like how the former president is. Si President Digong is a social media person. Nakita niya siya sumayaw yung ano ba yung sayaw niya, yung whatever, yung nakakatawag sayaw. Hindi ko alam kung paano sayawin. Pero sumayaw siya noon, yung budots, di ba? Pero pag nagsalita siya before. So when, di ba, merong, kasi yun, ito nakalimutan ng tao na, though it is very, very fake, yung social media, ang nag-viral, yung authentic, yung approach, yung natural, yung Kim Kardashian is #1 in the world with over 300 million followers. Bakit? Authentic siya. Ito na ako kung nakikita niyo to yun. So, Dasha, pag naglabas siya ng isang produkto, in 1 hour, ubos na. Kasi people just, like what he said, nag-tribe na. Kung ano yung sinabi ng leader, yun ang susundin namin. Yun ang gusto natin match, na merong human kami, I can relate to you, we're a community, but at the same time, I'm a person of authority. Pag sinabi kong no, no. Pag sinabi kong tama yan, tama yan. Pag sinabi kong fake news yan, nobody would even counter. It will take a while, sir, no? But I think it's there. We have already a community that they are really believers and defenders of PNP.
But sir, right now, ma'am, we have current regulations, somewhat provisions on our personnel on their presence at social media,
TikTok, yeah.
May mga provisions kami. Hindi naman binabawal talaga, kaya lang may limitations yung mga personnel namin yung presence na sa TikTok.
Yeah.
Yung mga pasayaw-sayaw na medyo malaswa na natin.
Pag malaswa, huwag.
Yeah, of course.
Nagpapakute o nagpapasexy na lang o what.
Character-based na yun.
Pero kala mo sir, to give you an example, sa States, yung mga army, on the break, sumasayaw yun sir. Meron silang break time nila and they just show after a day's hard work. When we're together, we have fun also. Pero so I'm not very sure what the nature of the memorandum of the guidelines, no? There might be reasons for that. But if you're going to ask us, negative ba yun? Ang dating, sa amin hindi.
As long as it's only a small percentage of it. If 90% of your content on PNP is all of you dancing, then it's not a good thing. If it's only 5%, like 1 out of the 20 posts that you make is that, okay lang. But if it's majority of your content and you're a source of information and news and education, then it's wrong. And that's why you have to create diverse content. That's the reason why we suggest to have diverse content. Hindi lang puro serious. May papabasag din ng monotony when it comes to all series, bilang boom, papasok itong na, for example, ito po ang 3 ways kung paano kayo makakapag-report pag may nakita kayong krimen sa lugar nyo. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Diba? Very informative, very direct. 5 ways na makakaiwas kayo sa hold up sa lugar nyo. For example, anong gagawin pag ninakawan kayo ng wallet, ganyan, or something? Anong unang gagawin? Pag pinasukan kayo ng bahay, itong 3 dapat yung gawin agad-agad. These are things that our education people would always want. As a video, I would watch that. And it would stick with me. Diba? Isa isulat mo sa picture na ginawa na ng artist na dito nakasulat lang. Babasahin ko ba yun? Hindi. It won't make a mark on my emotions. Because we share things based out of our emotions. Natatawa ka doon sa post ng aso, cute kasi sinishare mo, diba? Kaya maraming shares about yung animals na cute eh. Because it touches your emotions. And it's something, it's not informative, but touches your senses.
Yung video, yan ang number 1 kind of content na nagbabiral.
Super. That's why, for example, TikTok is now the number 1 most downloaded social media application in the world compared to Facebook, which is now actually losing sign-ups. So Mark Zuckerberg went down in the billionaires list because they lost money compared to other social media platforms. That's why videos are very helpful to disseminate information. It doesn't take someone to be a social media influencer for you to do that. It's just basing it on facts. Like, if I ask, for example, sir, ano yung top 3 pinaka-importanting kailangan malaman nyo when it comes to a certain law? Alam nyo na, right, on top of your head, right? So it's just like that. What you know is something people don't know, that they should be informed. So if you just state it on top of your head, you already know those 3 important things. Ang gagawin mo pag ninakawan yung bahay nyo, diba? May idea na agad kayo sasabihin na, eto, number 1, number 2, number 3, diba? Ako hindi ko alam eh. Alam ko lang, tatawagan ko yung hotline. Yun lang. Tapos, ewan ko, ano nangyari yun. These are things that happens to a lot of people. Kapag may sunugan, diba? May nag-away sa lugar nyo, ano yung gagawin nyo? Diba?
It can be a live.
Yeah, it can be a live feed as well. Videos are very, very, very helpful if you actually share that. Yun yung mas sinishare ng tao. Videos, more than text. That's what I've noticed. Because the longer the text, the harder it is to share it. And videos now, the attention span of children are very short. Before 6 seconds attention span a few years ago, now it's only 3 seconds or less. If you don't get them in the first 3 seconds, kahit gaano kaganda pa yung production video nyo, nag-mask yun ng 3 million para dyan. First 3 seconds, pag hindi nyo sila nakuha, wala na, wasted. And that's why brands like Jollibee struggle and spend so much just because they want their first 5 seconds to be catchy agad.
Yan ang pinakamahal.
Yung pinamahal, the first 5 seconds.
Yes.
But actually sir, yan yung challenge namin dito sa PNP. When we're starting the social media, nag-develop kami ng mga social media. Anyway, lahat ng mga PNP, gusto rin nila mag-ano sa social media. Kasi the easiest way na, even mga bagong recruits namin, involved sa social media. But we have policies.
Yes.
I think because of your, yung mga views nyo, we have different views kung paano i-catch natin yung interest sa Kasi we are more on the sensitivity of the before. So may mga conservatism kami na part dito sa hierarchy. It affects the policies. Kasi sa inyo, okay lang mapapinsin nyo yung sumasayaw ng police. It applies na kukuha yung interest nyo. But in some way, hindi nga gusto rin makita kung ang general public ba na gusto yung sumasayaw ng police. Versus dito sa hierarchy ng PNP na ayaw yung sumasayaw ng police. So ano ba yung papawar natin? Yung gusto ng tao o yung ayaw natin? So yung pinagbabangga natin sa policy. Which is very hard for us as a challenge para ma-deliver namin yung gusto. Kasi we are asking the impact from the community na ma-appreciate kami. Kasi sabi mo nga, tatlong bagay yung appreciation, hindi pare-parehas yung appreciation. The appreciation the fact that based na nagbibigay lang ng information right. And then some people appreciate the public. So na ito yung gusto niya. The interest goes on that. So ilang percent ito sa public na rin-develop natin that attracts the PNP para maging namin viewers namin. At the same time, supporting the PNP campaigns. Kasi iba-iba yung appreciations niya.
Yes,
That yun ang challenges na nakikita namin. Every time then na nag-deliver kami ng policy, is always, meron doon talagang resistance.
Actually, sir, dahil importante yung ating yung social media strategy. Doon ilalabas yung calendar natin. Anong contents ba ilalabas natin? Para may balance. Hindi lahat patawa, hindi lahat seryoso. Kasi diversity is key. Ang content mo, dahil Vicky Bello. Si Vicky Bello, nagbebenta siya ng kanyang clinic. Pero pumasok na siya sa lahat. You know why? So that yung audience niya is always attuned with her. Kailangan niya na may diversity, iba-iba yung ni-interview niya, iba-iba na yung ginagawa niya. Meron na siya entire crew. Pag lumakas si Vicky Bello, meron siya entire crew niya. Camera people, writer, makeup artist. Kasi yun, ganun talaga eh. That's the only way you can get more people to engage themselves to your content and to follow you. And to be loyal to you.
Actually, ma'am, nag-pick na kami doon. Yung mga unang creators namin, nag-pick na, sinusunod na namin. Because of the policy, nag-stop sila. Kasi natakot na may pinagbawal. But nung tinitingnan namin yung mga creators namin on the ground, iba-iba kasi yung mga narrative nila. Doon yung iba, ang narrative lang ganito. Sa duty ko, may papatawa siya. Which nag-pick. Sinusunod namin yun. Meron naman isa, nagpapatrolya siya. At yun naman ang ginagawa na narrative. So magkakaibang narrative. Hindi natin makahol sa gusto natin talaga na general na ito yung narrative. So iba-ibang creators, iba-ibang narrative, which is nakakatulong sana mag-pick. Nag-pick na sila eh. But the challenge now, siyempre, yung nga sinasabi ko, sa bali, may reason din, we have one policy. So binaban yung policy, nag-slow down. So
siguro guidelines, sir. I think, yun lang yun eh. That's the thing with social media. Even the algorithm changes every 6 months. Parang ngayon, piling mo, nag-change every 3 months, no? So, ang Google, ang TikTok, ang Facebook, nagbabago ng algorithm. So, minsan, bakit ito yung nakikita ko? Diba? Kasi nagbabago siya. So, I think, to be relevant, kasi ang importante kasi social media is you're relevant all the time. Hindi ka pwedeng outdated. Kasi mawawala ka talaga ng followers at mawawala yung trust sa'yo. Kasi yung ng tao, sa social media, every day, millions and billions of contents every day, mawawala yung focus sa inyo. So you're competing with a lot of content. That's going to be a problem. But only those who will survive is someone who has a very strict social media planning. Tapos very responsive, no? I'll give you an idea. Nung campaign, we started a page. Ang followers lang namin was 3,000. Pero ang views ng aming videos, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000. Because the content was something that was relevant to everybody. They watched it and they shared it.
So sa views mo ma'am, so kami, para mag-guide kami doon sa aming gagawin policy, ilang na iba-iba yung content ng PNP.
Yes, I mean,
not value on this content.
Yes.
PNP pwede siyang gumawa ng ganito na yung pasayaw-sayaw lang, okay lang siya.
Hindi bagay sa lahat ng tao sumasayaw.
Yun sana yung para mag-guide natin na ito talaga yung kung if you want to reach the public talaga na marami ang marating natin. So lahat na panglasa ng gusto ng publiko, yun ang pupuntahan namin.
Yes.
Parang ganon yung
with proper guidance, sir. So that it's hindi naman umaabuso. Parang hindi naman
of course, with with limitation pa rin.
Oo.
Just as the algorithm changes, your policy should always be changing as well.
Okay.
It can't be saying,
Forever.
sorry sir, pero ito yung policy namin since day one. We will not change. You have to adapt to what's
The new
the new algorithm
or the
as
new
well.
behavior.
So kayo rin, nagre-respond kayo to it, nag-a-adjust din kayo from time to time. So yung policy also adjusts and you inform your personnel on what's okay and what's not. For example, dancing, okay, hindi pwede dancing, bawal. But you can do dancing na may text na tipong 3 types of cyberbullying. Sumasayaw kayo, tapos may pinupoint kayo na 3 text. Diba? Because you're trying to catch attention eh. Alam, kaya sa ito ang 3 klase. It won't be attractive. Right? But if you're dancing and pointing like this, ganyan, diba? You see the idea? It becomes now more interactive and engaging for people. And we have to adjust to current times. If you say na this is what we've done since time immemorial, then it will be very difficult to catch the attention and build a tribe that will continue to grow for PNP.
But you also have to invest on lights, camera, quality camera,
editors,
microphones. Yan, you have to invest on those para yung message clear. Ang na-attract talaga, you have to remember, ang social media, i-recommend niya yung video mo pag maganda yung quality. Pag pangit yan, malabo, hindi niya, tatapon yan, ibababa yan. Hindi ba ako marinig? Sorry po. So yung importante, the camera is clear, high HD, yung may proper lighting.
At least 1080p.
Oo. Tapos, even yung microphone, may noise cancellation, especially pag nasa labas, or nagla-live feed, may noise cancellation, no? Dapat clear. So, madami, hindi lang siya dapat nag-live ka lang ganyan, or nag-video ka lang, magpa-viral na. Tapos, superimpose. Hindi pwede malayo ka sa camera at sumasayaw ka. Para bumubulong ka. Ang dapat superimpose, mas malaki. Tapos, yung mga letterings mo, yung text mo, mas malalaki. Paano namin ito nakuha? Kasi ang Google, every month, gumagawa yan study. Tinahanap niya, it's called Google Labs. Si Google Labs, titignan niya kung top 2,000 videos na nag-viral. Ano yung common sa kanila? And so far, for the last 1 year already, yung malapitan, yung malaki, nakikita yung mukha mo, at yung text, yan ang nagba-viral. Kasi mas close, mas intimate. Dapat mas intimate ka sa camera.
Pag nanonood ka ng YouTube, hindi naman kayo nanonood na sa cellphone na 10 kayo, tabi-tabi kayo, di ba? May kanya-kanya kayo ng phone, di ba? Kaya pag sinabi niyo, hello guys, pero ikaw lang naman kausap, gusto mo, ikaw yung kinakamusta ng tao, ikaw kausap. Kasi it's personal eh, di ba? When you watch for example, a vlogger, isa lang siya naman tinitingnan mo, isa ka rin nakausap niya. So it's one device, one person. It's just a medium in between. So you want to make them feel nakausap mo siya directly. So for example, if you're in a high position here in PNP and you talk to someone, you'll feel na parang I'm special to you. Na kinakausap niya, nag-share siya ng information sa akin na kailangan ko, na useful. And it feels more personalized.
So, yan techniques yan eh. These are the things that you have to be aware of. Pag nagsalita, saan ba titingin? Yung kamay mo. Paano mo i-position yung kamay mo? So, that's part of your social media strategy. It's not just creative. Pag nakita niyo sa TikTok, palapitan sa camera yan. Lalayo lang yan ng konti, pero dapat nakikita siya. Nakikita yung mukha. There are 2 industries that are thriving right now. One is beauty, kasi sa social media, dapat Instagrammable ka. Gwapo ka, maganda ka. Miski hindi ka gwapo, pero pag maganda yung kutis mo, diba? Maganda sa camera. So, those things. And of course, hair, because of the pandemic, no? Key yun eh. You don't have to look good. You don't have to be gwapo. But you have to look good in camera. And you prepare for that.
Kailangan talaga, yung importance para sa akin talaga, it's the first 5 seconds when you talk. Hindi tipo, hi everyone, wala na, tapos na. You don't have to introduce yourself. You have to go straight to your point. You don't have to lose, I'm the this and that, I'm the ganyan. They don't want to know who you are because they already are in your page. They already know who you are. You're an important person, they get it. What's your point? Ganun ang mentality ng tao. They'll ask you, diretso na agad. Wala nang paliwiliwi pa. Ito yung ganyan-ganyan. What are you giving me? That's what they want to know.
Kaya pala dun sa mga social media ngayon, even though sa mga TikTok, even though mahaba yung video niya, but meron siyang snippet ng first 5 seconds mo.
Hook po tawag doon.
Dahil sa loob, nilabas niya yung first 5 seconds.
Hook po tawag nila doon. Hook. Para ma-hook ka niya sa video.
Yun.
Tapos ito-draw ka.
Para ma-draw ka, parang kunyari may video na parang mag-aaway.
So, i-edit natin yun, no?
Yes.
Kunin yung pinaka-best part.
Pero pinaka-best part, yun yung ilalagay sa first 5 seconds.
Yes.
So for example, on Facebook, you have, for it to be, for example, monetized by creators, 3 minutes, 1 second siya dapat para magkaroon ng ads sa tinatawag. So kunin yung pinamagandang part dun sa 3 minutes, lagay mo agad sa umpisa, first 5 seconds, biglang, ay bitin, tapos PNP logo, tapos yun na. Ay, today, bibigyan namin sa inyo kung ano nangyayari pag merong bypass. Ano nangyayari sa isang bypass na without disseminating too much information to public. Parang mga ganun, interesting things that people will talk about. It's one of the ideas in terms of content. I'm not saying, ito lahat yung content niya. Hindi ko sinabi, sumayaw lang o ganyan. It's just one of the many types of content we can put out. Not just informational content, but also educational as well. Yeah. Number 2 din, hindi lang, kanina ko sinasabi, huwag lang kayong basta mag-post, mag-participate kayo. If hindi kayo makapag-dedicate ng tao, you have to dedicate someone who will respond to comments. If you have 100 comments, dapat merong official, verified account niyo sa PNP, di ba, sa Facebook. So when you respond to them, it feels that you care about what they say. And at least, matalino man lang yung comeback, di ba? Pag kanyari nakakasar o ano. So one of the comments, and yes, Bulos, yeah, dancing PNP traffic officer attracts positive public sentiments. Yes, because it makes you human as well. You're not just a machine. Hindi kayo Robocop eh. Even Robocop has emotions. Robocop does not dance. Relevance and diversification of the content matters. Yes, the relevance because if it is time-bound and it's diversified, hindi lang specific audience niya target nyo. Pwedeng laws for women, single moms, for example. Marami kayong makukuhang market doon because there are a lot of those like that. Laws for single parents, for example. Yes po. Para you can use this as a guide in relation. Yes, we'll give a guide.
Marami silang mga recommendations dyan, but the problem is we're treading a fine line between what is authorized and unauthorized.
I think, sir, kailangan po ng proper approval process. For example, may hierarchy. For example, ako po, yung agency po namin, nagpo-post po yung content for a multinational company, a sneaker brand that is global, pero Philippine-based lang. Before we even post the content, may calendar kami sinasubmit.
Case in point, kasi nasa armed services kami, we work by rules. How is the armed forces paying? How is the other armed services are paying insofar as the social media is concerned?
In the Philippines, sir, no, just say about how the US is doing it. Sa US po, may guidelines po kasi, meron silang parang circular. In the US, meron yung proper guidelines. It can be federal and it's also statewide, di ba? Ang ginagawa nila, kung makikita nyo, ang standard na kanilang pag nagpe-press con, pare merong nakidnap. Makikita yung pare-pareho ang ano niyan. Pare-pareho, nasa podium, tatlo lang sa tabi. Ang media is a few steps away. Merong markers yan. Hanggang dito lang kayo. So those are standards. Those are non-negotiables. Yun, hindi mo makikita yan sa ano. Prati yung deep back. Normally, kagaya ng pandemic, nasa labas yan na building. Doon sila nagpapapress con. Mas realistic. So I think what you can do, sir, is, I know the institution has so many guidelines and laws. What you can have is create non-negotiable and guidelines also, so that they know what can be violated and what not to be violated. Kasi, ganun lang po tayo. That's the only way we can win the war on fake news. To counter it in social media, you have to have a plan. Without a plan, sabog po yung dating nyo. And yung messaging nyo hindi magiging buo sa audience ninyo. Yes, sir.
Moving on to the third additional tip and strategy. Number 3, using content creator tools. Marami na pong tools to create content. I don't know who creates the content for PNP, but you have a vast array of tools that you can use now. Popular yung Canva, which is created by a Filipina, which is used worldwide, which our agency uses as well. So, yeah, CapCut. So, a lot of tools that you can use to make more engaging content. Number 4 is craft eye-catching infographics. Yan. Dito nyo mapapakita yung mga achievements ng PNP sa mga bawat location na meron kayo. For example, ilan na yung crime na bumaba compared from 2017 to 2022 in terms of, for example, let's say, carnapping. Diba? Na information. Those are achievements that people don't know. And then, doon nagsispread yung mga rumors, nagkaroon ng isang carnapping incident, nag-aanap na raw carnapping. Pero in truth, it was just only one. So you have to put up infographics like those on the regular. Parang ilan yung mga crime against children or women para more awareness na nangyari, or times na nanakawan ng isang bahay before and after. And infographics are very helpful because kung galing sa inyo, it is based out of data na recorded sa inyo. For sure, you have data on all of those things, for example, that I mentioned. Sharing those information is very vital kasi yun mismo, magagamit din ng mga news publications. Because sabihin nila, source, PNP. Ganun lang mangyayari nun. Ito yung mga bahay na nanakawan ng 2019 versus 2022. May data, sabihin nyo ganito, galing sa inyo yun. Those are infographics that are easily made using content creator tools. Not just on video, but just text. So you have to know yung right mix mo, if it's just text or photo or video or a mix of everything. It can't be just photos or it can't be just infographics. Kailangan you're throwing off people pa iba-iba. May halo, may right mix. So yun yung pumapasok yung create your own feed, number 5. So you have your colors that you're guided, post in certain colors as well. So yun yung feed nyo, may mix siya ng video, photo, text. Ganun, may mix siya. And number 6, never forget to use hashtag. Our recommendation right now is between 3 to 5 most. If you do more than that, Facebook, for example, Instagram dubs it as not reliable. So meaning, kumbaga, may 30 hashtags, lalagay nyo something about cyberbullying, tapos yung topic hindi na pinuso, hindi naman about cyberbullying. So it does not make sense. So it has to be, number 1, hashtag yung PNP. Number 2, specific to what it is. Number 3, something in general. For example, anti-crime or something. Use as much as 3 to 5 hashtags only. Kundi magiging spam lang yung post nyo. Mapupunta kayo sa tinatawag na, for example, if you post on Instagram, you'll be on Instagram purgatory. Meaning, if you have 500,000 followers, hindi makikita ng at least 10% yun ng first followers nyo na online during that time. Bababa kayo sa ranking ng mga review. Kasi there's so many types of content. Naipag-away nga tayo for attention of other people. That's what we're talking about here. Trying our best to create content na para tayo yung una makita ng tao compared to other social media accounts. Sir, how just to handle the backlash from the netizens? Of course, we will not be able to satisfy everyone. Yes, there will always be trolls and trolls attract trolls, and this will lead to backlash. For example, with me, I create content that's motivational. The thing is, I will get 100 comments. And 97 of those comments will be positive. Yes, I agree, amen, ganyan. And 3 of them will say, D-O-B-O ka, G-A-G-O ka, or T-E-N-G-A ka. Will that affect me? Not really. Because people always have opinions about the content I put out. You cannot be perfect. You cannot control how people will react to your content. But if, for example, I made the content na positive, tapos 97 out of 100 comments were angry or mali, may something wrong with me. It's because of maybe something I did before na nakasira sa akin. If you keep continue posting content that is positive and informational, talagang normal lang yun na kunyari may news na parang hindi nyo na asikaso agad, magkakaroon talaga kayo ng angry reactions from people. And the only way to fight that is to continue doing positive things all throughout. You do not change your narrative, your content, just because marami na nagagalit sa inyo, so nagtotroll sila sa inyo. Kasi it will end. Those trolls are like storms. They will pass also. Nawawala rin, titigil din yun. Kaya, looking at your content, you should always be consistent.
To counter yung trolls, kung nalaman yung trolls na tinignan yung profile bago newly created, madali lang yan. Delete the comment, block, report. Next. Lahat ng troll accounts, lahat na nagbigay ng negative comment, normally, troll accounts are just nuisance yan. You don't have to reply to them. You don't have to keep their comments in your page. What you do, delete, block, report. That's it. You don't have to engage yourself because they will die. Eventually, their account will die as well. Because once they are reported, that's it. They cannot create another one. They will just have to create, and create. Now, it's more difficult to create a profile page with Meta. It's not as easy anymore. It will ask for a lot of verification tools. May authenticator pa ngayon. Just don't engage. That's what I always say, don't engage. Let's say this is a message, very important message. Ako, if I build an image, sorry, but this is who I am. And this is what I do for a client that I want to protect the image. I delete all negative comments and I don't react to negative comments. I just delete them. I will only keep positive comments in my page. Negativity has no room in my page.
Example po on my social media, my Facebook, I only post positivity and motivational content. So every time someone posts negative, completely delete them because they are not my market. So sa inyo rin po ganun din dapat. Kaya may kailangan nyo ng content management na tao kasi kailangan nyo makita yun.
Yes, sir.
Sabi mo, sa wall mo, you can delete
Yes.
negative comments.
Yes.
But on the wall, pero yung sa ibang tumitingin, nakikita nila.
Hindi na.
But
Hindi na.
ikaw
Deleted na.
administrator, pag dinelete mo siya, sir, kung ikaw administrator ng PNP page, dinelete mo yung comment, hindi naman lang makakakita nun.
Or kahit editor.
Or edit, or miski editor ka pwede mo rin.
Sa page mo lang.
Kahit na marami pong nag-like dun sa comment niya na troll, pag dinelete niya, wala na po.
Sa FB yan, ha?
Opo, kahit sa Instagram, kahit sa YouTube, sa Twitter lang hindi.
Sa
You can
Twitter
block
din.
them, pero kita pa rin yun nung nagpo-follow sa kanila.
Yes.
Pero yung mga trolls, ilan lang followers ng
Tsaka sino
tatlo,
po ba
lima.
nag-Twitter sa
So
Facebook?
dapat talaga meron nakabantay.
Yes,
Meron
sir.
po. Kumbaga parang tanod niyo yun eh.
Oo.
Sa akin po, may 2 tao sa account ko na lagi nagmo-monitor
Sa
ng
lahat
mga
ng
negative.
lahat ng hinahawakan natin.
Yeah, but the problem is, kung, of course, kaya bantayan yung account namin.
Kailangan.
But the problem is, nagpo-post sila sa kanilang mga
Sarili
illegal
account.
accounts.
Yes, yung mga trolls.
Wala kaming magagawa.
Wala na.
Pwede pong i-report. Mass
Report
report.
yan.
Yun lang.
Yes.
You can always do that.
Yes.
But you know,
But,
sir, may authority kayo in the
now-
Philippine National Police. This is your advantage. When they post something negative about you, that's cyber libel. Being PNP, you can report to Meta or Facebook and say, they will know naman it's coming from your account. That's you are of authority. They will act on it.
Meta, they know the location also.
Yeah.
Kung saan na-create, anong cellphone number yung ginamit niya to
Ginamit.
create it. All those information.
Yung IPs.
Yeah, and IP address. Mabilis yung matitrace kung sino rin yun na gumagawa continuously kung non-stop sila ng babash or nagsispread ng fake news about you. So kung sa page nyo, madali lang yun. Block and delete lang yun or
Yeah.
madali lang yun. Pero yung outside yung nag-create, tapos lumalaking audience, dapat yung pinapatayagan.
Yeah, pinapatay nila.
Before the audience even
Complain
goes to
nila yun.
100 followers
Ibablock
or
na
more,
sila.
block na sila.
So yun yung ginagawa. Sa time ng election, ang daming supporters. And ano, ang ginawa niya, nagko-complain lang siya sa Meta. Tapos ginawa yung user or yung page owner. 3 warnings, they will block you. You are suspended for a month.
Here are examples of social media listening tools or knowing the pulse of the market. Social media tool. So, social media listening tool helps you create, schedule, publish, and manage your social media content and ad campaigns across all your networks from a single dashboard and maximize the impact of your social media marketing with real-time measurements and insights. For example, me, I use Hootsuite to post across Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube as well, sometimes on TikTok. The importance of social media listening tools is it provides with campaign analysis, provides feedback on how a particular marketing campaign resonates with your audience. So, nagbibigay siya ng data, may graph. Anong oras active yung mga followers nyo, kung 6 to 9 p.m. Kaya sabihin niya, huwag kayong mag-post sa 9 a.m. kasi tulog pa yung mga followers nyo, hindi pa active. So magpo-post usually, we recommend between 6 to 9 p.m. even up to 10 p.m. Next one is competitive analysis. It reveals insights on based on how your competitors are doing based on conversation. For example, other law enforcement agencies as well, how they're doing. So maka-compare nyo yung data nyo against how they do their content as well. Another is event monitoring. It enables your company to see how your audiences respond in real time to a specific event, such as, for example, may free kayo na webinar. And of course, industry trends. It's when a company listens for discussions mentioning the industry using social functions. Like for example, the use ng mga hashtag yun na specific for your campaign. The difference between social monitoring and social listening. Monitoring is based mostly on reactive, tactics-based, and information-gathering focus. Listening naman is more proactive and strategy-based and insight development focus.
Importante ito, sir, and ma'am, you need to have a listening tool that will help you understand their market better and their contents. Effective ba o hindi? Ano ba yung pinag-uusapan in 6 or 7 layers? Medyo ngayon kasi parang, well, mga 5-6 years ago, we can deep down to the conversation up to 8 level. Yung nag-usap yung dalawa, pinasa hanggang sa ilalim, no? Ngayon makikita pa rin yan, pero about 3 levels na lang ng listening. Hindi siya as deep kasi pinagbawal. Binablock na ng social media platforms. But this is important so that you know is the sentiment of the people, positive or negative. How many negative news or reactions did we get out of this article or this video that we presented? So you need to invest on tools like this. It can be, here, we will give you some samples. You have to subscribe to them.
Ito yung mga example ng mga providers ng listening tools. Sprout Social is what they cover. Hootsuite, which I use a lot. May mga specific cost sila. You can check their website. And OnlyPub. Marami pa yan.
Yung OnlyPub, maganda yan eh. Kasi ano yan, calendar yan.
Pero yan yung mga example ng mga known providers for data.
You have to have all these tools.
Yeah. Social media analytics and algorithm. So here are more data for you to have an idea on where your platforms are. Total population, give or take, 111 million. Urbanization, 48%. So mobile connections, there are 156.5 million versus the population, which is 140% more. Which means that
Dalawa yung phones.
ibang tao, dalawa yung phone. Like me, I have 2 phones. Some people have 2 phones or 1 phone pero 2 SIM cards. Iba rin yun. Internet users. Sa Philippines, we have 76 million users versus the population. That's 68%. That's about, 68% of the population of the Philippines are in social media.
Yes.
Which is a lot, right? If you think about it. Siyempre, hindi nakasama din yung mga walang mga mobile devices or walang access sa internet, na share lang sila, we don't even count them. Pero yung nakikinig sa katabi niya na merong ganun, hindi natin nagbibilang yan. Active social media users, there are 92.05 million versus population compared. That's 82.4%. Which means that that's why, one of the reasons why content creators that are foreign, yung mga puti na nakikita niyo sa ibang bansa, pupunta ng Pilipinas madalas, pupunta ng mga Boracay, ng mga beaches natin. It's because tayo, we have a lot of active users compared to other countries. Hindi lang sila makapunta ng China because they don't use Facebook, for example. Or ban Weibo sa kanila ban sa bansa nila. So, where do they go? Philippines. Because pag nakita ng foreigner nag-share ng positive news about our country, sinishare. So that helps them in terms of their audience. Like for example, one of the biggest, Nas Daily, majority of his followers, millions of followers, I don't know how many followers he has, mga 20 million ata, 25, are Filipinos. And he's not Filipino, he's Arab, I think, yes, Middle Eastern. A lot of content creators use the Philippines and for more positive reasons, to promote actually tourism natin.
But see, you will notice, pag positive about the Philippines, ang dami taga, it will go viral. Pag negative, si Nas Daily, remember yung tattoo artist?
Kay Wangkod.
Oo,
Yeah.
nag 10 million, nag-backlash sa kanya, 10 million umalis.
It's a double-edged sword. Your popularity is a double-edged sword. It can be good for you, or it can be bad for you, based on the content that you have, or your intentions. If you have bad intentions with the post that you make, for sure you're gonna have backlash from the public. Wala na kayong magagawa.
Nasa apologize and apologize.
Yeah, kahit na mag-apologize kayo, you've already lost a huge chunk of trust from people. That's why, very important nga that you don't post content bigla-bigla. It should be scheduled and there's an approval process man lang na may makakita na. Di ba, even TV ads, they go through a lot of checking, di ba? For psychological reasons. Yung mga surf, yung mga sabon na commercial, they go through a lot of checking because of psychological reasons. Because the audience is open. Hindi alam ko sino nakakita ng content, so na-filter siya. So, it's just like that as well. It goes through an approval process dapat. Devices used for accessing the internet, of course, smartphones, 98.5. Dati, it would have been different.
So, you have to take note, maliit lang yung kanilang screen. So, dapat talaga, HD yung camera ninyo. Para maganda, clear.
Malinaw.
Tsaka malapit.
Malinaw, narinig kayo.
Oh.
Now, laptops or desktop compose 77%. Tablets, yung mga iPad, 33%. Of course, television streaming, 10% na lang. 20 years ago, yung the opposite. Wala pa yung iba. 100% TV lang yan.
Yung mainstream media, they lose viewers, readers, by 30% per annum. So, ngayon mababa na lang. Hindi na sila yung #1 content.
Ngayon,
na hinahanap.
ang sikat na ngayon, yung mga social media influencers, sila yung binabayaran ng hundreds of thousands, millions for just one promotion. For example, for me to say, I believe in this brand on social media, I post it, I would get paid 200,000 for it.
Si
Compared to
Antonio
like,
kasi isang influencer.
so if I choose a brand, for example, and I like it, I would ask for a certain, I would demand for a certain amount of money to post it on my Instagram. Kung story lang yun, 50,000. Pero kung post talaga na video, nagsasalita ako for 1 minute, iba yung cost yun, pamahal ng pamahal. It really depends kung ano yung mga product na sinishare ko. So, may value na yung ginagawa ng mga influencers talaga ngayon.
Maybe just to add, no? If you notice, Antonio has his crew, and they're the best in the industry. They're very good videographers, and they're editors. Pag naglalakad siya, nagbibigay siya talk, and he's recording this,
Yeah.
they will edit that after.
Yeah.
And he uploads it. So
So-
he has a crew.
So when I do talks, this is, for example, a long format. So we will choose, of course, based on sensitivity, hindi namin lalagay yung mga sensitive parts of it, only for public consumption. So pili kami ng best part. So imagine if I post this on my Facebook, this is, for example, running for over an hour. No one will watch this. Pero if I get the best parts only,
Sure.
pipitikin ko lang yung mga pinakamagandang mga sinabi namin. For just 1 minute, it has the potential to go viral because it's very informative compared to doing the long format. Of course, I'm gonna share the long format as well, edited na on YouTube because people want to watch videos. Long format on YouTube. Pero even now,
May
Google,
shorts.
shorts na nila. May YouTube shorts na sila tinatawag na 1 minute lang yung video. Dati YouTube, you can watch for 2 hours. Like Joe Rogan does a video podcast, Joe Rogan show for 2 hours, 3 hours. 17 million people watch it. As an average. There's a market really for long format and for short format. But it has to be consistent. Hindi pwedeng pasod-pasod lang. For example, the show, maalala mo kaya?
Yeah.
It's been running for decades already, right? The host, Charles Hans, has been there for a long time. But because it's every Saturday night, 9 p.m. I think, there's an audience ready for it that's ready watching consistently. Because they built the tribe already with the MMK fans of it. It's the same thing with you guys. You can do that as well.
Siguro for your short, it can be like, I don't know if you've seen this video of the CEO of All Nippon Air. By October 10, bukas na yung Japan, you can come to Japan.
Yes.
Yung mga 1 minute, yun yung important sa shorts. It can be an announcement by the chief. Announcement namin ngayon, bukas walang pasok. Yung mga, yun ang shorts nyo. Or tomorrow may massive campaign kami against illegal parking, whatever, I don't know. Ganun yung announcement, sa shorts nyo ilalagay. Pag press briefing, maybe sa long formats na.
In the world now, we're in, before, being original is very lauded. Now, if you're copying someone else, for example in TikTok, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because you're setting a trend and you're copying because you're doing a different thing that they do. Pero sumasakay kayo sa trend na ginagawa. Kaya yung mga dance na ginagawa, it's become very trending to everyone. Because kahit na hindi siya original, ginaya mo lang yung ginawa, pero ikaw yun. You did
Yes.
that yourself. So in the own PNP twist of things, you do something like that, na pasok pa rin sa policies nyo, based on your current approvals and policies, pasok pa rin kayo dun sa tinatawag na ng algorithm. Because you have to join it. Or else, then it's really hard to get an audience to be part of you.
Actually, hindi mo mahirap gumawa ng content. You just follow what is going viral. Ano yung ginawa ng viral na video na to? Gayahin lang natin. Our version. Diba? Kesa mag-isip pa kayo na ba yung magbabiral? Madami na eh. You don't have to be the original. But you can be the better version of the original.
I don't know, I'm sure most of you have heard me parang, oh no, oh no, oh no, no. Yung
Oh, yes.
music na ganun, di ba? I'm sure narinig nyo na yun yung music na yun, oh no, yung parang fails. You can do something like that na parang, oh no, ito yung mga no-no na dapat na hindi nyo pwedeng gawin sa social media. You can use that, you don't have to dance, you can use that music, that audio na trending na magamit nyo for your own content as well. And still, pasok pa rin yun sa algorithm. And that will help attract the audience. So what are the things, the activities that people do on social media? Number one, they watch online videos. 10 years ago, it would have been just photos on Facebook. Kasi hindi nga kaya ng internet natin eh. Dati wala pang 5G. Ano pa lang, 3G pa lang nun and sobrang bagal ng internet. So, it's hard to watch videos. You would notice around 2014, dumadami yung mga videos na napapanood sa Facebook. Ngayon, it's dominated. YouTube. Kasi yung data ngayon, mas mahal na ang data compared to only text. Only call. Pansin nyo, 100 pesos na lang yung mga ganyan. Pero versus data, it's now more expensive when you do the plans because you want to watch videos. It's the habit of people to watch other people as educational or entertainment. Watching vlogs because people are normally marites. Most of my videos I create, I only get about 8,000, 10,000 views. Pero pag when I do vlogs of me attending events or talking to someone important, it gets double or triple the watch because they're interested.
Ano nangyayari?
Ano nangyari sa event? Pwede na pala lumabas yung mga tao. Ganyan. Kala ko, bawal pa pala ngayon. Ang dami ng events, so napupunta ako ng event. It gets more attention rather than me talking in the studio. Another thing is people listen to online music. They watch music videos of mga Pinoy rappers. Ito yung age ngayon na Pinoy rappers. Because it's easy to create content, online Pinoy music is big, especially rap. Because ang bilis nila makagawa ng music because there's tools to make the audio, to make a video gamit ng iPhone or Android, ma-upload na nila sa YouTube and we get tens and millions of views right away. Dati may production value pa yan. Kailangan gagas ko 1 million to do misbin. Ngayon, 5,000 lang binayad sa'yo. 11 million views na ginawa ng video. 5,000 pesos budget pa yung artist. So now they do that. Another is listening to online radio. Yan. Ito yung mga podcast na makikinig yung mga tao. Iba-iba. Spotify is number 1. And yeah, last, watching to podcast. Podcast can be audio-based because it's more personal kasi naka-earphones kayo habang nagdadrive kayo. Pwede kayo makinig na someone na motivational or entertain, nakakatawa. Yan si Jokoy, he has a podcast program on Spotify na that you can listen to. Pakinggan mo na siya, matatawa ka na. So, free on Spotify. But there's also the video version that's posted on YouTube. Automatically, when you make a content na video, if you have good audio, video and audio content siya. That's why I like creating long format content, mga 15-minute videos. Because when I do that, pwede i-cut ko yun. Pwede kong gamitin sa TikTok, pwede kong gamitin ko sa Instagram at sa Facebook ko. Yung long format, nandun sa YouTube, mamamonetize ko. Kasi may ads. May ads ako mga 2 to 3 commercials. So, kumikita ako ng pera sa YouTube. Pero with that, long format, cut ko yan. Kung magaling ako mag-edit, makukuha yung mga small pieces, mapuput ko sa ibang social media platforms. So now, you have more bankable content na tinatawag. Mababangko mo. Marami kang bala. Kung ano po post ko today? Meron na ako. Ito, nakatago na ito, naka-edit na ito, ready for upload, naka-schedule. Alright, ito yung mga behavior ng tao sa social media. Most of the time, they visited or use a social network or a messaging service like Messenger. Kaya nga yung Instagram dati walang instant messaging, meron na silang instant messaging as well. Even sa Twitter, naglagay sila ng direct messaging. Next is actively engaged with or contributed to social media. The next is their behavior is an average amount of time spent per day. Meron data niyan and that's one thing I look forward to always every week. Sine-check ko anong oras pinakamarami ang active users. Because hindi ako mag-post ng 3 na madaling araw or 5 na madaling araw kasi tulog yung mga followers ko na Filipino. Sayang lang. So mas maganda, mag-post ako ng 6, so by mga 9 PM, marami na akong engagements.
Di ba yung sinasabi ng pag-post mo, dahil na mag-post ka ng madaling araw, kapag yung sa algorithm nila, pinafollow pa nila, mag-a-appear din sa kanila.
Mag-a-appear po.
Ang ano lang po doon, sir, is yung timing. Kasi sabi namin, magandang may timing. Kasi, kung mag-post ka, baka hindi kayo number 1 post niya. Kasi you posted earlier that when he checks on his phone, kasi meron time. What time is the normal na madaming nagbubukas sa social media? 7 o'clock in the morning. So gusto mo, ikaw yung unang makikita niya. Pag pinost mo yung sa'yo, mas maaga kaysa doon sa iba, nandito ka lang sa ilalim. Pero kung nag-post ka, yung tama lang na pagbukas niya na ikaw yung number 1, ikaw yung number 1. So, merong timing kami sinasabi kung kailan magpo-post. Later, we'll show it to you.
Kaya, for example, on Instagram, there's a tool, Insights, where when you click on it, makikita nyo, mapakita nyo yung graph, pataas pa ba. Anong oras pinakamarami kayong active users? Tapos, anong oras yung pinakamarami na nag-engage sa post nyo? Makikita mo, 7 PM, 9 PM, 8. Makikita nyo kung saan mata. So, I cannot recommend a good time for you. But, if you look at your own stats, malalaman nyo na, 7 PM pala pinakamarami yung magpo-post or 5 PM marami. So, yun yung mga 2 oras na magpo-post kami.
Ikaw yung time kasi most recent
Yes.
lagi pinapakita.
Yes, most recent post
Most
talaga.
recent parati. And next one, after that is most engaged na.
Most engaged na.
Most recent, tapos most engaged. Yung pinakamaraming likes, comments. Kaya pag nakikita ko agad, magwa-viral tong post ko. Kasi first 10 minutes, 5,000 likes, and normally 1,000 likes na yung post ko in 10 minutes. So alam ko na pa magpa-viral yung post ko, hindi. Kasi na ito, first 10 to 15 minutes, critical siya kung marami ng comments, likes, tsaka share.
Yan yung algorithm ngayon. That can change. That's what we're saying. That's why you always have to be attuned with the algorithms. That's why the listening tool is important. Doon yung makikita, nag-change yung algorithm. So ngayon, yun ang algorithm.
Percentage of internet users that use social media for work, a lot. One thing that's overlooked at is a company owned by Microsoft called LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I'll debunk the myth that LinkedIn is used only for those who are looking for jobs. LinkedIn is now a great social media platform where the business owners themselves or the top executives can share information of what's going on in their company. As a top function on a company, you can talk about on a higher scale level, not on a business level or a business side of things, compared to like you being on Facebook, that's more entertaining information. Here, it's on a business level. So LinkedIn is a great tool that's used by over 30 million Filipinos right now, not just for job hunting, also to disseminate information about the business. Distribution of Facebook users worldwide as of January 2022 by age and gender. 13 years old, of course, which is the minimum age of a Facebook account. Pinakamababa, the highest one you will see here is between 25 to 34 years old. But mostly, it's between 18 to 44 years old, and then it goes down from 45. Nandito yung majority ng users. So now, you have to see the minds of people in that age group. What do they watch? What do they share? What do they talk about the most? And engage with that kind of content in your own twist. Yeah, ito, Filipino users in the Philippines in 2022. Potential audience that Facebook reports. When I do ads, it will show me up to this number of people that I can possibly reach. But of course, for me to reach that, I have to spend more money. If I do Facebook ads, yung paid ad, na magbabayad ako. Now, I will just choose a specific market. Interested. For example, yung interested, gusto nyo matarget yung mga interested sa news. So, target yung mga news media population. ABS, GMA, sila yung audience na tinatry nyo capture kasi they want news and you provide news as well. Another is Facebook's potential advertising audience compared to the total population. 110%, which is a lot. So gender-wise, mas maraming users na babae, but not so much compared to men. 53.8% versus 46.7% to male.
I'll add to that, no? Yung nagpa-viral, normally, madalas mag-share lalaki, more than girls.
Tama yun eh. Yung babae, nag-create.
Maybe. Yeah, there's more content creators actually na babae.
Yeah.
Influencers, there's more women
Kasi yung lalaki
creators.
share lang, takat eh.
Mas maraming lalaki na consumer ng content based on what we see. Mas maraming lalaki na nagko-consume ng content compared sa babae na nag-create ng content. That explains why there are more men that share. Like we said, yun na yung kanina eh, when to publish.
When to publish.
The advice here is to post visual content. Of course, more videos and images. A content is also a text. Like when you type something on your status on Facebook, it's a type of content. People tend to forget that. Most of my content na pinamataas yung engagements, it's when I post every 3 p.m. something very short, one sentence, like God is giving us a new beginning, something like that, and will reach 30,000 people. It will have 30,000 likes because it's very short, simple. Like put God first in everything, something like that gets more attention. But it's just a text that I typed in. Tinype ko lang.
Yeah.
And it's simple content, but it works. And that's what people share because it's so relatable. Or Tagalogin ko. Pag nag-post ako ng Tagalog content, sir, mas marami engagement. Kasi half of my 600,000 out of my 1 million followers on Facebook are Filipinos and 400,000 are global. So that 600,000 are Filipinos, they understand Tagalog. Of course, meron mga Bisaya doon or iba yung language, pero Tagalog is something they understand more. They will engage with that more.
Localized content will go viral more than an English content. Parati yun ang hierarchy of sharing ng platform.
When published, only on Mondays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays.
Actually, recommended naman every day.
Every day.
Every day naman talaga. Pero if you're limiting your content to like, for example, 4 to 8 times in a week, schedule it more on those days na maraming tao na nag-engage. Like Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Because ito yung medyo may mga time yung tao, mas active yung tao. Sinabi lang na Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday because ito yung pinakamababa compared to the other days. Pero again, I would still look at my own data because iba yung activity ng tao because they know, for example, PNP is active Mondays through Sundays.
Dapat every day yun.
It's something that does not take days off.
Yes.
Kumbaga, if there's a crime that happened on a Sunday, of course you have to talk about it on a Sunday, not on a Tuesday or Wednesday, right? Still look at your own data as well. It's best to check your own data. YouTube users, ito is one of the biggest platforms globally because YouTube is video. It's the new TV. Dati walang YouTube, so ang TV mo talaga sa bahay. Yun. Ngayon, yung mga TV na binibili nyo, may YouTube na naka-install, di ba? Tapos kahit wala kayong cable, wala kayong antenna, okay lang. Basta may internet kayo, makakapag-YouTube kayo, makakapag kayo ng ABS-CBN News ng 7 p.m. Magsi-stream lang kayo, makakapal na kayo live. There's 56.50 million users and creators like YouTube because we make money off it, the content, through ads. Instagram, there's also a lot of users in Instagram. I think Instagram comprises about 40% of where people get news compared to 80% where people get news, which is Facebook, 55% from YouTube. But for Instagram, is I think the third largest platform where on social media, people get news. What are we saying here? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram are good platforms to disseminate news and information. Twitter is more popular really sa mga bata pa, pero sa States, it's really big. In the Philippines, it's really Facebook, YouTube, and then now, of course, TikTok and Instagram. Yeah. Actually, na-overtake na ng TikTok si Instagram. Yeah. Mas higher na.
Mas popular sa TikTok sa Instagram.
Every day for Instagram. Ito, TikTok. Ito, medyo new platform. Just like with every platform, if you're not comfortable with using a new social media platform, what you do is just consume content for the next 2 weeks to a month, maybe even 3 months. For me, as a content creator, it took me more than a year to understand what TikTok really is. And I've been on also social media platforms for a long time. Do I dance? Do I have to sing? I don't sing. I don't dance. I don't act. I don't do dubbing. What can I do? So now I share information instead on my TikTok account, which is about 480,000 followers now, based on me not dancing. It's information. TikTok is a good platform to share and disseminate information today to the younger generation. So it now generates more than 35 million users on TikTok, and actually half of the users of sa younger generation, 27 pababa from Facebook, are now transferring to TikTok. Sabihin, meron sila Facebook account, pero half of them are not active on Facebook, but they're now 100% more active on TikTok based on data law. So maraming babae because they're more the creator, 65%. Publish, of course, every day. The content should always be entertaining. Of course, there's no text here, it's just videos. But if you use videos of you not even talking, just using a thumbs up like this, record me like this, and I put information here, text, it's a video already. Yung ganun lang, me recorded like that, like number 1, number 2, parang 3 things you shouldn't do online, ganyan. Tapos 1, 2, 3, that's a video. Put good music, that's it. You have a video. So it doesn't cost much. Dati, it would take you 3 hours to make that kind of content using another tool. But on TikTok, 10 minutes lang, may content ka na for that day. And you don't even have to talk. Yeah, Messenger. Ito it's a tool created by Facebook. There's 55 million Facebook Messenger users. There's no ads really here, but you can put ads from Facebook that includes Messenger and Instagram. But dito, nag-direct message yung mga tao sa inyo. That's why it's critical that yung nagre-respond. Sir, kailangan ko ng tulong, ganyan-ganyan. Hindi lang, kahit may auto-reply, okay lang, where to go, ganyan. Pero it's important na personalize pa rin na. After that, if you think it's important, dapat nire-reply ng community specialist nyo. Kahit pa paano siya. Para makita nila na reliable siya. Para siyang 911. Pero sabihin nyo, may disclaimer dapat na hindi ito 911 na pag nanakawang kayo, huwag nyo kami may message dito. Call, diba? Parang ganun. But Messenger is not safe, I would say. For anything private matters, do not use Messenger or WhatsApp. Use Viber or Telegram. Yeah, so this is the last one. So this is what's on PNP, on Facebook. Average post likes is 1,000, so more or less up and down. 1.7 million followers on Facebook. And comparative to how many users there are on Facebook, it's a small chunk only na nagko-follow. Which means that there should be a lot more people following this, like a third man lang ng users. If there are 70 million users, you should have a third at least of that following this account. Average posting per day, 3, which is good amount, like slow. And we don't baba engagement. So now comes the more engaging post. Instagram, 252 posts, baba rin. 14,600 followers. Average engagement, 100 plus, which is understandable kasi kung puro informative lang yung news nyo, hindi siya engaging. Talagang konti lang yung may phone engagement. Walang masyadong comments, diba? Parang hindi siya mag-ask ng return na parang i-like nyo to kung naniniwala kayo sa ganyan. Parang ganun. It has to be engaging. Parang comment kayo kung sino kailangan ng malaman itong balitang to.
Or pakishare naman.
Share nyo naman tong news na to. Something like that.
Everybody will know.
Yan, Twitter. Kasi sa Twitter, real time din mabilis. So text yan, mabilis kayo mag-share. 200,000 followers. This could be a lot more if you have more actually active tweets. Actually, ang maganda nga sa Twitter is that you don't have to create posts always. You can reshare yung post na trending na tingin nyo newsworthy, tapos pwede kayo maglagay ng comment on top of it, and that becomes your content as well. Kunyari, someone from another government body posts something trending, you can repost that, i-reshare nyo lang, tapos lagay kayo ng comment nyo from it. So it's just interaction. So it gets more people engaged. Tapos replyan nyo na lahat na nagtatag sa inyo. The views here should be a lot more. 500 views. This can improve even further. I think doing 1 to 2 videos per week na consistent, na tipong every Monday and Friday may post kayo, every 8 p.m. naka-schedule na yun, would do very good for you. Either informative and something educational.
Yung virtual background talaga doesn't make you look good. Unfortunately, no? Pero yung pag yan, deep back yan, ibig sabihin wala sa likod, meron kayong magandang painting or the logo of PNP, mas maganda. Mas maganda yung itsura, kaya mo mas maganda mag-makeup. Ang virtual background, sorry, pero kakapangit talaga siya na mukha ng tao. Doesn't do justice. Yes, okay, use official hashtags para makikita nyo. Like what they said, parang file of action, mas madali hanapin. So hashtags are very important, whatever it can be. It can be your tagline, PNP at its best or whatever. Gumamit ang hashtag. Ang dami I love, may emoticons na keep up the good work. Mga sirs, sabi mo, maraming salamat po, we're doing our jobs. Happy to serve. Di ba? Happy to serve. Wala kang engagement. Yun yung sasabi namin camera, dapat eye level, mas malapit. As much as possible, sana huwag na tayo mo po. Pag especially for official press briefing, it's better na nakatayo. It commands authority. Kasi really people, just to command the authority na. Ito na yan. Sasabi namin is gospel proof. I've always been in the HR business. I do corporate imaging and I also coach CEO, C-levels, even those who are looking for a job on how they can get a job better. Yung actuations ng tao is studied. We know, like now I'm in stripes, that can look at me. I purposely wore stripes so that one, you will look at me because it commands that you look at me. Kung siguro marami akong prints, hindi ako papansinan because mabubulo at confusing. When I walk, I open my palm, meaning whatever you say is welcoming to me. So when I look at you, at times na mahirap tignan yung mata, huwag din tignan sa mata, tignan nyo lang, dito lang. It looks like as if you're looking at the eyes. The camera, same way. In social media, you have to look at the camera as if you're talking to someone already. So that the message is relayed properly. Look at this. They have their own. Wala silang virtual background. Diba? Maganda yung camera. Papasok, nakatayo, or in authority. I think we should have guidelines as well when you do your messaging. Pag yan, naglabas na sa nag-announce sa stage, lahat ng tao makikinig. Kasi official yan. Make it official. So whatever important messaging that the PNP will have to convey to the citizens, it has to be in a standard format.
Camera angle din po important na pataas para mas authority yung nagsasalita. Mas important po na pataas yung camera yung
Yes, oo.
Nakatingala sa iyo.
Yes. At saka para mawala yung yung double chin.
Mapapaya tayo.
Paano?
Yung camera, hindi mo dito. Ay level, pero para mawala yung double chin, ma-define yung jaws, magbukating mo. Pero yung light maganda. So yung sa office mo, that's perfect lighting, warm lights. She intentionally wore those colors to attract. When she makes an announcement, si Pelosi, every time she makes an announcement, she's always with bright colors. Oo, kakampi niya para maging next president.
Yun po, makikita nyo yung matang nila nasa upper side ng camera.
Well, actually, sir, hindi effective yun. Seems like effective, sila-sila lang yun. Pero hindi nagbabiral yun, sir. Ang mahirap lang ngayon sa mga leftists, the way I see it, is they're very traditional pa rin. You will notice na hindi naman siya nag-viral. Ang importante, ganito lang sa social media. I'll give an example. Si Chris Aquino, 4.8 million. Ang conversion niya, yung pag nag-recommend siya, bumili kayo ng ganito, hindi na mataas. Kasi meron ng, hindi hindi na, alam na nila, yung dati mo nirecommend, hindi naman maganda eh. Papanoodin lang namin ka, or whatever it is, meme ka sa akin. There are two types of content. Meme, yung patawa ka lang sa akin, but I'll never take you seriously. But meron ako that I will take seriously, and at the same time be entertained. I think for PNP, you are in authority, that people are looking up to you. And whatever you say is gospel proof, supposedly. It's really just getting that message across. And in fairness, you all look good when you're in your uniform. So thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you.